So good morning, everyone. So my name is Jean-Michel. I'm the coordinator of the project, and just would like to give you a few words on FireIN and the status of the project for today. So as you know, this project is based on network of fire and rescue activities. And so by fire and rescue activities, we, as Stefano mentioned, we would like to address all the actors, the practitioners, the industry research and standardization bodies and policymakers that are involved in fire and rescue, in order to see what could be their expectation in terms of research, in terms of development of technologies and human resource and so on. And so to make some recommendation to the European Commission. This day will be split in two main parts. In the morning we will present you the status of the project and the first results that we had done from the working groups, the thematic working groups that was done in the previous months. And this afternoon will be a discussion on the gaps versus the research, innovation, standardization that could address these gaps. So just few words for the project, for those who don't know in detail the project. So we are 16 partners from representing all the Europe, a lot of fire department, the Ministry of Interior, Academy of Fire and Rescue and so on, research bodies and the Council of Baltic States that represent 11 countries in the Baltic Sea and some partner from project management. We base the project in three parts. So today we will be able to discuss of the first activities of the project, which are the analysis of what we call capability gaps. This is the names that we used in order to say what are the expectation of the practitioners. What do they need per thematic? So this first activity was done during the year one of the project, and then we will start from now the year two of the project, and we will start the discussions with the research, with the industry bodies, in order to see how the research and innovation could address the capability gaps explained by the practitioners. And then a third phase will be to make some recommendation to the Commission in order to say to propose a strategic roadmap on research and innovation. So this is the main three steps of the project, and we will repeat this three steps three times during the life of the project, which is 5 years. And so today we will concentrate the discussion on the capability gaps that will be presented this morning. So as you know, we propose to address the fire and rescue activities in 5 thematics. So this morning you will have the presentation on the 5 thematics. The first is search and rescue and emergency medical response. So how to organize the life-saving in the field in case of large disaster. The second is structure fire. So the fires that concern the buildings, the tunnels, all the structures that could burn. The third one is vegetation fire, so all the fire that are in the landscape. The fourth one is natural disaster, so all the storm, floods, ice storm, and so on. And the last one is CBRNE, so chemical, biological, radiologic, nuclear, and explosive disaster, and one other word could be hazmat. So all that concerns these specific activities. So we decided to have these 5 thematics, as in each thematic there is different communities, and so we would like to be able to address all the communities that are involved in the fire and rescue. That's why we decided to split it in that 5 thematics. In the project, we propose to have a good contribution from the practitioners in Europe, and to involve these practitioners in a community. And the name of this community is Associated Experts. So a lot of people from this room are members of the Associated Expert list of FireIN. And on this list, we have up to 200 people that are involved in the activity of FireIn. And so we invite them to participate to the working group, and we share with them all the activities of the project in order to have a large discussion with a large panel of practitioners. And we expect to increase during the project life, to increase this number and to be able to reach a large panel of European practitioners. So just to let you know that we have 5 thematics then, but we address all the activities that are done in these 5 thematics, from preparatory, what we call preparatory tasks, supporting tasks, and operational tasks. You will see in details how we address it. And what I said in the second part of the project, we will organize the collaboration with the research and industry bodies. And how we will do that? We will engage a first review of the state of the art. So in order to analyze the projects that are ongoing or are finished at the European level and at the country level, the member state level, and to see how the research could address the expectation of the practitioners. And then in the third part, we will discuss with the industry, and we'll share with the industry representative the results of the project in order to have their position concerning the potential for development, innovation development, that could address the capability gaps. As I mentioned, the third one will be a recommendation to the Commission, and every activities done by the project will be implemented in what we call eFireE platform. It would be a web tool that will be developed next year, that will support the activities of the project, and you will have the possibility in that website, it's that specific web tool, to have access to the activities of the project. That means to participate to the project through the tool with working groups, e-working groups, and virtual meetings, to have access to the results, and of course to have access to the review of the state of the art and recommendations by the project. And this tool, we expect that will support the involvement of a larger group of practitioners in Europe. It will simplify the collaboration, the collaborative activities. So as I mentioned, we have a 3 cycle of activity, and the project is expected to finish in 2022. And also we will have other opportunities to discuss with you and to invite you in several workshops and meetings during this project live. And this first annual meeting is very important to share the first result, but we have also other activities that will go in the next years. As I mentioned, in this year we have the first cycle of thematic workshops that we'll present it later, and this annual meeting, and next year we will repeat the same activities with workshop again, thematic workshop again, and annual meeting. So you will receive some details concerning these events. Thank you for your attention, and I let the floor to Sébastien.
Okay, so sorry. Good morning to everyone, and thanks very much for being there. Thanks to CNVVF also to host us in this amazing and very nice facility. I'm Sébastien Lahaye from Safe Cluster also, like Jean-Michel, coordinating the project on operational things. And just a few inputs about logistics today. So as we mentioned this morning, will be a very rich morning, very interesting, I'm sure, because we will present you the results of this first cycle of workshop. And I mean, you have the prime time for the results, because we just finished working on that end of last week, so it's very new. And you will be the first to have this result being disseminating. So this will be the morning. We are talking about the work package 1 of the project. So just a way to say that's the task where we organize this, associating the experts and discussing the thing to find the capability gaps. And this This work package was brilliantly managed by Catherine Fire Service and Marta Mirales, who is just close to me. Marta will take the mic at the end of this morning to present you the common capability gaps, the cross sectors capability gaps. Before that, we will have a presentation by every one of the task working group leaders that Jean-Michel said to you, so from search and rescue to CBRNE and the other one. And that will be for the morning. And obviously, we'll have a break in the middle of the presentations. And then this afternoon, after lunchtime, we'll have a more interactive session, because having considered these gaps, we'll try to discuss together the best way to find solution to fit the gaps. So we'll organize that differently this afternoon, and we'll start splitting the group in free table, in free room, but again, that will be after lunchtime. So just before to give the floor to the first task working group, which is Search and Rescue and Emergency Medical Response, I will just make a small focus on the way this first cycle of workshops was organized and the type of results we had, because that will introduce the other presentation. So we started that in February, and actually exactly in these premises in February there we hosted the first two workshops on structural fire and CBRNE. Then 1 month later we had two other workshops in Berlin in THW facility, and then we finished in Barcelona in end of March, I think, with search and rescue results and workshop. How we did that? We bring together 14 associated experts. So some of you were present, were there to this workshop. What we are, when we are talking about associated experts, we are talking about people that are not partners of the project. The idea was we have 16 very interesting and very well-connected partners in the project, but we wanted to have more people. We wanted to have people that are not partners and that are experts in their field and in their country. So every single workshop, we have 14 experts from different countries and different type of expertise within a specific area. Let's say, for example, vegetation fire. And then we bring them together, and we had this very powerful methodology, I would say, that Fraunhofer Institute developed and coming from other projects, other European projects. And the aim of the methodology was that within a very short time, less than 2 days, we can bring the most things we can from the experts. With a single question, we can have lots of things. And the question was, for example, well, we will talk about high-rise building. And let's imagine we have a big fire in a high-rise building. So what are your issues in this type of fires? And you can speak of what you want. I mean, you can speak about technology things, you can speak about coordination and control, you can speak about logistic issue. Just tell us what are your main issues. And the way the results were produced through the 5 workshops was very similar. And it looks like, finally, all the discussion finally turned about around, let's say, 7 types of capabilities. We were talking about pre-planning. How do we prepare for the operation, this big problem we have, this big incident? Standardization. There were many discussions about standardization issue. So standardization may be something we will have to define better, because probably standardization doesn't sound in the same way for a firefighter than it does for somebody who is very implied in standardization, but things about standardizing thing anyway. Incident common organization. We had lots of issues regarding this common organization. Knowledge cycle, which is obviously training, but more than that, let's say feedback from operation, and how do we share this data. Information management. We have lots of issues regarding this way to share information and manage it coming from lots of sources and lots of information. Community involvement. It was a very important topic, and surprisingly for me, in every single workshop, the experts said, well, we as firefighter, as responder, we cannot respond everything. We have to imply the community because we are not able to do everything, and we have to bring them back to the issue. And then technology, obviously. We had technology things and capabilities to address our issues. And this was the 7 capabilities, but apart from that, we found with Marta and with your team, with the Catalan Fire Service, regarding the 5 workshops, that all the discussion we had were crossing 4 main challenges. And this will be my last slide before to let the ground to Carles. But definitely, first type of challenge was a high flow of responder in an hostile environment. So what is an hostile environment? It can be an environment with severe issue. It can be a large vegetation fire. It can be a high-rise building being on fire. So this is an hostile environment. And we have a high-flow responder because we have responder, firefighter, or other type of responder coming from different things, different parts. Then we have this issue of low frequency with high impact events. And if we are talking about low frequency, we are talking about events for which it's very difficult to get prepared because I, as a firefighter, I never faced this type of event. That's the first time in my life I'm facing this event. So, and this is the case for most the major incidents we are talking about. Complex multi-agency environment, because we are talking about cross-country events. Tunnel fire, for example, can be cross-country or within the same country, but with different agency. Police, firefighting agency, volunteers, and everything being implied. And then the 4th one is high level of uncertainty. And I think this picture of 9/11 is quite of kind of illustration of that. I mean, what will happen now in this big event? What will happen in this tower? Obviously, we know now that the tower will collapse and everything, and that there is a second plane arriving in the tower. But who could predict that on 9/11? Probably nobody predicted that. So these major incidents are evolving very quickly and in a very uncertain way, and this is causing lots of trouble for responders. So this is the 4 main challenges we faced, and now we enter deep in the presentation of the results of the task working group, and we'll give the floor to Carles, I think, from Catalan Fire Service, and Carles will give us the result from the Search and Rescue and Emergency Medical Response task working group.